For over 3 decades, The Simpsons has celebrated Christmas with hilarious, heartfelt, and occasionally chaotic episodes that capture the holiday spirit in the unique style of Springfield. From Santa's Little Helper's debut in the very first episode to the futuristic adventures of the Simpson family, each Christmas installment offers a blend of humor, family bonding, and satirical twists. Join us as we take a detailed journey through every Christmas episode from this iconic show, revisiting the memorable moments, zany antics, and timeless lessons that make them so beloved. Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, Season 1, Episode 1. The episode begins with Homer rushing Marge and Maggie to Bart and Lisa's Christmas pageant. Lisa shines as Tawanga, the Santa Claus of the South Seas, while Bart disrupts the choir with a parody of Jingle Bells. At home, Marge writes the family Christmas letter, Homer decorates the house, and the kids create wish lists. Bart asks for a tattoo, and Lisa wants a pony, frustrating Marge. Later, Homer feels demoralized when Ned Flanders' impressive light display outshines his modest efforts. During a shopping trip, Bart sneaks into a tattoo parlor but is caught by Marge, who spends the family's Christmas savings on removal. Homer, hiding that he won't receive a bonus, secretly takes a job as a mall Santa, only to earn $13. Desperate, he bets on a long-shot dog, Santa's Little Helper, at the track, but the dog loses. As they leave, the dog's owner abandons him, and Bart convinces Homer to take him home. The family immediately loves Santa's Little Helper, and Homer realizes he has saved Christmas by bringing them unexpected joy. Marge Be Not Proud, Season 7, Episode 11. Bart becomes obsessed with the game Bone Storm after seeing an ad during a Krusty Christmas special, but Marge refuses to buy it due to its cost and violence. Desperate, Bart tries to play it at Milhouse's house, and later shoplifts a copy from Try and Save. However, he's caught by store detective Don Brodka, who warns Bart never to return or face charges. Bart hides the incident by intercepting Brodka's phone message. The next day, Marge insists on taking the family's Christmas photo at Try and Save, despite Bart's protests. During the visit, Brodka exposes Bart's theft to his parents, using store surveillance footage. Marge, deeply disappointed, becomes distant, leaving Bart out of family activities. Feeling remorseful, Bart returns to the store to make amends and buys a professional photo of himself as a Christmas gift for Marge. Touched by his gesture, Marge gives Bart a game she believes every boy wants, only for it to be Lee Carvalho's pudding challenge. Though disappointed, Bart smiles and embraces his mother, restoring their bond. Miracle on Evergreen Terrace, Season 9, Episode 10. Homer and Marge go Christmas shopping at Try and Save, where Homer, disguised as a cashier, sneaks away with popular toys for the kids. At home, Marge confiscates alarm clocks to prevent anyone from waking early to open gifts. Bart outsmarts her by drinking water to wake up early and unwraps his gifts, including a coveted remote-controlled fire truck. However, he accidentally sets the Christmas tree and presents on fire. Bart hides the burned remains and lies, claiming a burglar stole everything. The community, moved by their misfortune, donates $15,000 and a new tree. Homer uses the money to buy a car, which he immediately wrecks. Overwhelmed with guilt, Bart confesses, leading the family to fight as news crews expose the truth. Springfield residents demand their money back, and the Simpsons are ostracized. In desperation, Marge competes on Jeopardy, but fails. Frustrated, the townspeople ransack the Simpsons' house to reclaim their donations. In the end, the family reconciles while fighting over the last remaining possession, a tattered washcloth. Grift of the Magi, Season 11, Episode 9. On a typical day, the ozone hole moves over Springfield. Milhouse convinces Bart to dress as a girl, and they jump on his parents' bed. When Homer knocks, Bart panics, falls on a bowling ball, and injures his coccyx. Dr. Hibbert puts Bart in a wheelchair temporarily. At school, the lack of ramps leads Fat Tony's construction company to build some, but they crumble due to shoddy materials. Fat Tony demands $200,000 for repairs, forcing Principal Skinner to close the school. A company, Kid First Industries, privatizes the school but shifts the focus to toy design and marketing. Suspicious, Lisa discovers hidden cameras and two-way blackboards used to spy on the students for toy research. When she tries to expose it, the evidence vanishes. Eventually, the new toy, Funzo, is revealed to be a toy destroyer designed to sabotage competitors. On Christmas Eve, Homer burns all the Funzos after stealing them, but security guard Gary Coleman stops him. They discuss the meaning of Christmas and invite Gary to dinner. The episode ends with the family and guests smiling as Gary breaks the fourth wall with a classic, "What you talking about, everyone?" Skinner's Sense of Snow, Season 12, Episode 8. At home, Homer watches a sports talk show, only to be dragged by his family to Cirque du Purée, which annoys him. During the performance, strong winds blow the tent away, forcing an evacuation. Overnight, a snowstorm blankets Springfield. The next morning, kids hope for a snow day, but school remains open. At school, the teachers are absent, attending a secret emergency caucus, actually playing in the snow. Principal Skinner shows a disliked film, The Christmas That Almost Wasn't But Then Was. When it breaks, the kids prepare to leave but find they're snowed in. Skinner announces they'll remain at school due to downed phone lines. Meanwhile, Homer and Ned use a makeshift snowplow to rescue the children. As supplies run low, tensions rise. Bart tunnels out but is caught by Skinner, who destroys the tunnel, getting trapped in the process. The kids rebel, taking over the school. Skinner sends a hamster, Nibbles, for help. Meanwhile, Homer and Ned's snowplow freezes, but Nibbles frees them by smashing their windshield. They crash into a salt silo, melting the snow and freeing the kids. Skinner faces Superintendent Chalmers, while the Simpsons and Flanders return home, enduring exhaust fumes that make Homer hallucinate again. She of Little Faith, Season 13, Episode 6. Bart and Lisa watch The Planet from Outer Space and see an ad for the Orbit King rocket. Bart orders it with Homer's credit card, but their poorly built rockets repeatedly fail. Inspired by Flanders' successful launch, Homer recruits experts to build a rocket. Nibbles, the hamster, is the pilot, but the rocket crashes into the First Church of Springfield after Nibbles ejects safely. To fund repairs, Mr. Burns sponsors the church in exchange for advertising rights. The revamped church irritates Lisa, who feels it mocks religion. She storms out, declaring she's leaving the church. Seeking a purer path, Lisa visits the Springfield Buddhist temple, meets Richard Gere, and decides to become a Buddhist. Lisa's family struggles to accept her new faith, especially as Christmas approaches. Marge attempts to bribe Lisa back with a pony, but Lisa realizes their plan and leaves. At the temple, Gere reassures Lisa that she can celebrate with her family while staying true to Buddhism. On Christmas Day, Lisa returns home, explaining she can honor both her beliefs and her family traditions. 'Tis the 15th season, Season 15, Episode 7. It's Christmas in Springfield, and the power plant hosts a secret Santa exchange. Carl gives Homer a great gift, but Homer forgets to get Lenny one, buying him certs from a vending machine. Lenny and Carl call him selfish. Mr. Burns hands out meager bonuses, cafeteria vouchers, while Homer receives a rare Joe DiMaggio baseball card. Unaware of its value, Homer sells it and takes his family shopping at the upscale mall, but secretly buys an expensive astrolabe for himself, only getting cheap keychains for his family. When Marge finds out, she shuns Homer, who realizes his selfishness after watching Mr. Magru's Christmas Carol. Determined to change, Homer becomes the nicest man in town, performing acts of kindness, including making amends with Lenny and building a neighborhood ice rink. Jealous, Flanders outdoes him by buying everyone gifts. Inspired by Lisa's Buddhist advice, Homer steals back the presents to shift focus from materialism. The town riots but calms after seeing a miraculous star, Hans Moleman's flare. They sing together as Snake steals Homer's astrolabe. Simpsons Christmas Stories, Season 17, Episode 9. The first Doel, Mary, Marge, tells Joseph, Homer, she's pregnant despite being a virgin. The angel Gabriel, Lisa, explains she'll give birth to the Son of God. Meanwhile, the three wise men, Dr. Hibbert, Principal Skinner, and Professor Frink, inform King Herod about their plan to bring gifts to the baby Jesus. Mistakenly thinking the gifts are for him, Herod becomes furious and vows to kill the child. At the Bethlehem Inn, Mo initially offers Mary and Joseph a room, but forces them to stay in the barn when Mary's water breaks. There, Mary gives birth to Jesus. Bart, the wise men and shepherds, Lenny and Carl, visit, but Joseph, upset he's not Jesus' father, goes to drink. Baby Jesus performs his first miracle by turning wine into water. When Jesus won't stop crying, Mary hands him to Joseph, who amuses him by hurting himself. After Jesus finally sleeps, Herod and his soldiers find the barn, but Mary and Joseph escape. They trick the soldiers by placing Jesus' halo on a duck. Joseph then cuts down a pine tree, which rolls down the hill, trapping the soldiers and Herod as decorations. The duck, still wearing the halo, perches on top, and Mary names it the first Christmas tree. I saw Grandpa cussing Santa Claus. Bart and Lisa find Grandpa stuck in the chimney, trying to trap Santa Claus. When they ask why, Grandpa reveals he's seeking revenge on Santa and begins one of his elaborate stories. During World War II, Grandpa and his brother Cyrus were Navy pilots. Cyrus showed off his lucky pocket watch, stolen from an enemy soldier. Though damaged in combat, he revealed he had a spare. When their squadron was attacked, Cyrus was shot down after Mr. Burns, their radio operator, refused to warn him. Grandpa and Burns also crashed on an island but survived. Grandpa asserted his dominance over Burns, and the two coexisted on the island. Months later, Burns shot down a passing plane on Christmas, but it turned out to be Santa Claus. They repaired Santa's sleigh and gathered the scattered gifts. However, before Santa could leave, Burns knocked him out and fled with the presents. Grandpa chased him on a stray reindeer, subdued him with a tricycle, and returned the sleigh to Santa. Santa promised to rescue them, but never returned, leaving Grandpa to escape on a makeshift jet ski. Bart and Lisa dismiss it as another tall tale until Santa himself appears in the den. He reveals Cyrus survived and settled in Tahiti with 15 wives, choosing to stay. Santa admits he avoided rescuing Grandpa out of guilt and embarrassment, ultimately reuniting him with Cyrus, the Nutcracker. Sweet! The children of Springfield Elementary perform the Nutcracker, but the audience finds it dull. When the first act ends, Homer declares it's time to leave, only to learn from Mr. Largo that it's intermission. Regardless, everyone leaves, leaving the kids to perform for an empty auditorium. Later, Homer grumbles about hearing the music again, and Lisa explains explains its public domain. The Springfield residents then sing the Simpsons public domain Christmas song to the tune of March. The Simpsons pretend they're not home, so Grandpa spends Christmas with raccoons. Meanwhile, on the Krusty the Clown show, Krusty shares a clip of a 1964 Christmas episode where he's pelted with snowballs. Moe, watching at home, begins his holiday tradition of trying to end his life but fails at every attempt. He eventually cooks dinner for Barney, asking him to end it as a gift. Instead, Barney gives Moe a wool hat, inspiring Moe to try again next year. At home, Marge gives Homer her gift but is surprised when he claims his is outside. Realizing he forgot, Homer scrambles for a last-minute present but returns empty-handed. Marge's gift is a present from Homer to Marge, explaining she prepared it knowing he'd forget. The gift is a photo of Homer as Santa with Marge on his lap, which she adores. Moe, sledding past the house, narrowly avoids being hit by an 18-wheeler. Kill Gil. Volumes 1 and 2, Season 18, Episode 9. The Simpsons attend Krusty's Christmas on Ice, where Homer ends up fighting the Grumple. On Christmas Eve, Lisa asks Gil Gunderson, dressed as Santa, for a Malibu Stacy playset. Gil finds one for her, but gets fired for selling it. Marge invites him to dinner out of pity, but Gil overstays his welcome, moving in and delaying his departure under the excuse of waiting for a job offer from Scottsdale. As holidays pass, Gil disrupts the family, eating their food, stealing Bart and Lisa's lunches, and causing chaos. Homer grows frustrated, even fighting the Grumple again at Moe's Tavern. After Gil sends a Christmas card featuring himself, Marge decides to kick him out but finds he has already left. Determined to finally stand up for herself, the family travels to Scottsdale, where they find Gil working as a successful realtor. Marge confronts Gil, firmly saying no, which costs him his job. Feeling bad, the Simpsons buy a house in Scottsdale, where they spend Christmas with Gil and the Grumple's family, singing Grumply Grumply Christmas. The Fight Before Christmas, Season 22, Episode 8. The episode follows a format similar to Treehouse of Horror, but features 4 stories instead of 3. Bart's story. Bart is upset for not getting the dirt bike he wanted for 3 years and vows to stay up to shoot Santa. He falls asleep and dreams of a train, a parody of the Polar Express, driven by Otto Mann, taking him to the North Pole. After climbing the corporate ladder, Bart meets Santa, Krusty, who is broke from giving free presents for only cookies. Bart decides not to shoot Santa, but as he leaves, Santa throws a wild office party. On the ride back, police chase the train, and Otto abandons Bart on board. Lisa's story. Lisa dreams of Waltz Your Sloss, where Marge is at war and Homer cares for the kids. Homer buys a Christmas tree, upsetting Lisa, as Marge had gone MIA after a tree-buying trip the previous year. Marge's war scene parodies Inglourious Bastards, ending with her returning home to her family. Marge's story. Marge dreams of a visit from the all-powerful Martha Stewart, who teaches her the true meaning of Christmas by decorating their house. However, Martha's perfectionism ruins the fun, and she makes everything disappear. Maggie's story. Maggie dreams, inspired by a Fluppets videotape, that the family becomes puppets, a parody of The Muppets. They prepare to leave for Hawaii, leaving Moe and his girlfriend Katy Perry to house sit. Mr. Burns appears, referencing A Christmas Carol, and the group sings the original, unabridged 39 Days of Christmas. Holidays of Future Past, Season 23, Episode 9. The Simpsons gather after Thanksgiving, and Marge announces the start of Christmas, prompting the family to take photos. Over the years, the family ages, with only Homer and Marge remaining in the photos after 30 years. In 2041, Bart, now 40 and divorced, lives at the Lofts at Springfield Elementary. He plans to sell his kidney to pay rent, and is surprised when his kids teleport in for Christmas. Bart plans to send them to Marge, but they can read his thoughts. Lisa asks her daughter, Zia, about a math test before escaping to the Ultranet, while Milhouse complains about holiday allergies. Maggie, pregnant and in London, is asked about the father but changes the screen on her Medbot to a soccer game. Bart and Lisa arrive with their kids, and Homer distracts himself from alcohol by making model spaceships. Marge receives a B-mail about Maggie's labor and heads to the hospital. Meanwhile, Homer and the kids visit downtown Springfield, facing chaotic events. Maggie returns home, and the family gathers for a Christmas photo, now taken by sentient pets, Santa's Little Helper, and Snowball 2. White Christmas Blues, Season 25, Episode 8. After watching It's a Wonderful Knife on the Itchy and Scratchy show, the Simpsons hear a news report saying there will be no snow this Christmas due to global warming. However, Homer discovers it's snowing in Springfield, making the family happy. At a town meeting, Professor Frink explains that the snow is caused by radiation from the Springfield nuclear power plant and particles from the tire fire, attracting tourists eager for a snowy Christmas. As tourists flood Springfield, Prices rise and supplies dwindle, making it hard for Marge to provide a good Christmas. A family asks to rent a room for $300 a night, and Marge agrees to house them. Homer is initially upset but accepts it after imagining what baby Jesus would do. While Homer and Marge manage the boarders, Bart looks after their kids. Reverend Lovejoy delivers a successful Christmas sermon. Lisa struggles to find meaningful gifts, but eventually buys presents for everyone, though they disappoint, especially Bart. He burns his gift, a book, prompting Lisa to get him a tablet instead. On Christmas Day, Marge apologizes to the boarders, who sing carols to the family before leaving. Marge, frustrated with their singing, drowns it out with a blender. I Won't Be Home for Christmas, Season 26, Episode 9. Comic book guy and Kumiko Albertson watch Cosmic Wars Holiday Special, with CBG upset that it's worse than he remembered, and Kumiko agreeing he's right to be angry. Homer plans to get home on time for Christmas but stops at Moe's for a drink. Moe, feeling lonely, convinces Homer to stay out all night. Homer loses track of time, and when he finally returns, Marge, furious, kicks him out and files for divorce, even starting a divorce center. Homer spends Christmas Eve wandering a cold Springfield, with Moe avoiding him. Marge, now running the divorce center, refuses to forgive him. Moe admits to Marge that he kept Homer out late, so she searches for him. Homer watches a sad movie, and Marge at a mall workers' party both have realizations. Homer realizes being without his family is worse, and Marge sees that Homer's actions aren't always foolish. They reconcile and remarry, bankrupting the divorce center. The episode ends with footage of The Man Who Came to Be Dinner, The Nightmare. After Christmas, Season 28, Episode 10. Reverend Lovejoy's service on the fourth Sunday of Advent is sparsely attended. His wife, Helen, introduces him to a fan club of church members who urge him to bring more people in. Meanwhile, at a pagan carnival, the Simpson family attends, and the Strand Beast goes wild, injuring Krusty and his daughter Sophie. At the hospital, Marge invites them to spend Christmas with the Simpsons. Marge gives Maggie a gnome-in-your-home toy that watches over her. Later, Krusty arrives with a TV crew, upsetting Sophie. Lovejoy convinces Krusty to convert after seeing a tased snake. Maggie has a nightmare involving the gnome, but wakes up to find it was a dream. The gnome reports Maggie is good, and Marge leaves it in her room. At church, Lovejoy introduces Krusty, and Sophie is pleased. Maggie receives a Mrs. Gnome as a present. Krusty reflects on his conversion during his sober contemplation hour. He later falls through ice, hallucinating a conversation with his father. Lovejoy rescues him, and many return to church. The family is happy, while Maggie destroys more gnomes. Gone Boy, Season 29, Episode 9. Sideshow. Bob and Shaquille O'Neal are doing community service by collecting trash when the Simpson family accidentally drives over it with a rental car. After finishing with the rental, Homer and Bart go out to play, but Bart falls into a manhole while trying to pee in the forest. The family and the police begin searching for Bart, but they fail as usual. Bart finds himself in a bunker with military equipment and tries to escape. He calls Moe as a prank instead of asking for help. Milhouse eventually finds the entrance but is distracted by Lisa. The news reports Bart is dead, but Milhouse keeps the truth to himself. Sideshow Bob struggles to accept Bart's presumed death, but Bart calls Marge to confirm he's alive. Milhouse is tricked by Bob into bringing him to Bart's location, but Bob shoves Milhouse down the manhole. Bob ties Bart and Milhouse to a missile, but after some hesitation, he saves them. Years later, an elderly Sideshow Bob lives in a lighthouse, still obsessed with killing Bart. A mailman named Jeremy suggests he get a mailbox so he can avoid disturbing people with his rants. Bob considers the idea. 'Tis the 30th season, Season 30, Episode 10. After Thanksgiving dinner, Bart and Lisa give Marge and Homer their Christmas wish list, including a 2400 GL 50 9K smart TV. Marge and Homer see a Black Friday sale at Sprawl Mart, offering the TV at a discounted price and plan to get it. Marge waits in line, and Homer is supposed to relieve her at 3 a.m., but he gets knocked out trying to free his scarf from the door. When the store opens, Marge helps Gil Gunderson, who is trampled while trying to buy a futon friend for his granddaughter, but misses out on the last TV, which is taken by the Spuckler family. Gil later sells the futon friend to Reverend Lovejoy. Homer finally arrives but crashes the car into a lamppost, twice. Unable to get the TV, Marge plans to make Christmas special, so Homer and the kids book a room at the Kissimmee St. Nick theme park, which turns out to be a dump. They pretend to enjoy it to cheer up Marge, but the place is full of unknown cartoon mascots and poor attractions. After confronting the owner, Jeannie, the family gets their money back and heads home, but runs out of fuel. They join Moe's dinner for the needy and later use the refund to buy the TV they wanted. The family ends the night watching a burning fireplace in HD. Bobby, It's Cold Outside, Season 31, Episode 10. 5 weeks before Christmas, Lenny's ordered gift is stolen. Sideshow Bob, decorating his tree at his lighthouse, meets Cassandra Patterson, who flirts with him. Bob gets a job as Santa at the Springfield Mall, while gift thefts continue in town. Homer tries inflating a Santa decoration but burns it, and Marge plans a trip to Santa's village. The kids aren't happy, especially Maggie, who's scared of a ride. Bart skips the line to see Santa and discovers Bob in disguise. Bob tries to strangle him but is unable to break character. Bart fails to expose him, and the family flees. Lenny reveals the thief's initials, SB. Homer wrongly accuses Selma, but Bart uncovers that Mr. Burns and Smithers are the real culprits. Burns, motivated by childhood trauma, returns the stolen gifts. On Christmas Day, the Simpsons enjoy the holiday together. Bob and Cassandra share a moment at the lighthouse. At the airport, Burns hurts himself while trying to imitate Steve Ballmer's pep talk and is taken away in an ambulance. The Way of the Dog, Season 31, Episode 22. Santa's little helper dreams of Ralph reaching for popcorn, then wakes up to the smell of popcorn as Marge prepares it for Bart and Lisa to make a Christmas tree decoration. When Marge tries to put a Santa hat on him for the family photo, the dog has flashbacks and resists. After returning from shopping, the family finds the couch shredded and the dog depressed. Lisa suggests seeing a psychologist, so they take him to Elaine Wolfe at Springfield Knowledge College. However, Elaine refuses to help after her lover, Clayton, interrupts the session. At home, when Marge tries to clean the Santa hat, the dog bites her, so they visit a vet, who suggests euthanasia, but they refuse. Chief Wiggum informs them that animal control is coming, but Elaine arrives and takes the dog to the Cognitive Behavioral Therapy Institute. There, Santa's little helper dreams of his mother, and Elaine gives him a pill to help him sleep. Meanwhile, the family prays for his return. Elaine later discovers the Santa hat hidden inside the dog and realizes it's the cause of his behavior. She believes the dog has PTSD from his previous owner and takes the family to confront him. The man recounts taking the dog from his mother, and the family slaps him for it. Eventually, the dog is reunited with his mother, She Biscuit, and the family brings her home, though Snowball eyes the family fish. A Springfield Summer Christmas. For Christmas, Season 32, Episode 10. Mary Tannenbaum, praised for her work at Heartmark Channel, is offered a promotion if she helps with the Christmas movie, A Christmas Ornament. She is sent to Springfield, where Moe picks her up and takes her to the Simpson house, now an Airbnb. Mary, who dislikes Christmas movies, clashes with Marge, who loves them. At the town center, preparations for the movie are disrupted by Skinner, who offers to help in exchange for promoting his lettuce and tomato festival. Mary starts to fall for him despite his fiancée checking in. Meanwhile, Bart disrupts the fake snow, trapping Mary and Skinner in a gazebo. After spending the night together, Mary faces a choice between Skinner and her fiancé. She picks Skinner, but he rejects her for deciding too quickly. The movie set is ruined, and Mary opens up about her hatred for Christmas movies due to her father's death during a screening. In the end, the family watches the completed movie, and Marge is the only one who enjoys it, leaving the rest of the family to let her watch Christmas films alone. Manger Things, Season 32, Episode 16. It's Christmas in Springfield, and while the Simpsons decorate their tree, Bart finds an ornament marked Todd's First Christmas, prompting Marge to tell a story from 6 years ago. At a Springfield nuclear plant party, Homer promises Marge not to drink, but Lenny and Carl spike his soda. Drunk, Homer mocks Mr. Burns, who releases the hounds, causing chaos. Marge drags Homer home, but when they arrive, she refuses to let him in. Wandering the town, Homer ends up staying with the Flanders family, much to Maud's dismay. Homer's antics, eating uncooked ham and teaching Rod a bad word, eventually get him kicked out. Homer finds refuge in a hidden room above the Simpsons' garage, revealed by Moe. On Christmas Eve, Bart and Lisa promise to give up their toys if Homer can come home. Overhearing this, Homer tries to bake cookies but fails until Maud goes into labor. With Ned away, Homer delivers the baby, impressing Marge. They reconcile, and the Flanders name the baby Todd Homer. Back in the present, the Simpsons laugh over memories while celebrating a now-perfect Christmas.